Good morning, crafty friends. This is Melissa. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a project share and tutorial using some My Creative Time products. So let me show you what I'm going to use in the tutorial today, and then I'm going to show you my sample. My sample does not have this paper collection in it, but you'll get the gist of it. So I am using my favorite large treat bag die. I love this one. If you don't have it, it's perfect staple for your stash. Trust me, you want this one. It's phenomenal. Plus there is an add-on piece that you can make this into a box, okay? Super cute. Love, love, love this die set so much. Comes with this little round part in case you want to make a little handle. It's cute. Then I used the Let's Celebrate paper pad and the 2 ephemera packs. Super cute, you guys. These have so many fun patterns in them. I love, love, love the stars, and then the cupcakes and balloons are just so cute. And then the paper collection has the brightest, prettiest colors in it. I love this collection. It is so, so cute. So that's what I'm using in my tutorial today, but let me show you the project that I had made that inspired this tutorial, okay? I made this little album. And this album was made with the Home Baker collection. I'm sorry, you guys, you can't find this collection anywhere, but I made this because a sweet, sweet friend of mine sent me the collection, and I have been using it like crazy, and I love it. So essentially what we're creating is the front and back of the album and the 2 inside pages. Now, when you open this up, you're going to see that I made pockets as well in the front right here using the die collection as well. So I did that in the front and the back. So the back one has a pocket, the front one has a pocket. I also created a bottom pocket, which I didn't do today, but it's the same concept as the side pockets. It's just you're doing the bottom part instead of the end of the die. Super cute. And then I have this little pull out. I'm not doing the tutorial for this today, but it's super simple. It's literally just an accordion fold, put it into your album to have more space for pictures. And then it has a little magnetic clasp. And then the other part of this is the waterfall. I am doing the tutorial for this one today because I had someone reach out to me on my previous video, which was the 3 3/4 by 4 3/4 tutorial for the album, and it had a waterfall page in it, or maybe it was just a project share, but it had a waterfall page in it, and they were asking about the waterfall. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this part today with this little magnetic closure. Okay, so that's what we're essentially going to be doing. There are so many possibilities with this. I mean, you could do all kinds of tuck spots. You could do all kinds of fold out pages. You could do all kinds of interactive pages. If you wanted to put 2 of these pieces here together and create a pocket, you could do that. It would be super easy to do that as a pocket on the top. Super, super simple, you guys. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to need. And my tutorials never go smooth, so you guys just bear with me, okay? So essentially what I have done is I cut out the base piece of the treat bag, which is this piece here, twice. This is the front and the back of my album, okay? Then I cut out 2 more pieces of that, and I put this in my cutter, and I put this score line here, this score line, at a 1/2 inch, and I cut off the rest of it so that you just have this one little 1/2 inch flap, okay? And I did that twice, okay? Now we're going to create the base part of our album before we move on to the rest, okay? So let me show you all I did, and you guys are going to be amazed at how simple this is, okay? So all you're doing, okay, from this score line to the edge of the paper is 1.5 inches. So all I'm doing is I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together just as you would using it for a lot of the other projects that I have done, okay? Just as you would for using the box pieces, just as you would for using the handle, same thing. You can cut this down and make it more narrow, but I'm using it just as the way it was intended, so 1.5 inches. Now, if you wanted your spine, because this is going to be your spine of your book, to be wider, you would simply measure how wide you wanted it and move your pieces out to make your spine bigger. But I'm leaving it today at 1.5 inches, okay? So let's go ahead and put glue on one of these and go ahead and get these glued together. I use my glue liberally because the one thing you don't want coming loose is your spine, right? So, and I love wet glue because I live in Texas and hot glue never stays together. So, pardon me. Now, all I'm going to do is take my piece and fit it to the other piece, okay? And I hold that up just to make sure that it's not going to impede the other piece. I line it up. I make sure that it's nice and straight on both sides so that I know it's fit evenly. Then after you press it in, open it up, take your bone folder and really get a good fit, okay? Super simple. There is your front and back. Couldn't be any simpler than that, right? Now, you're going to take your inside pieces. Remember, this is the piece with that little 1/2 inch flap, okay? And you're going to take your little flap and you're going to glue it in to the inside of your book. And again, I'm going to lift this up to make sure that it doesn't impede the fold. I'm going to fit it right in, close it down, line it up, make sure that everything's nice and straight. Okay, press that in, and then come back in with your bone folder and get it nicely pressed in there so you know that it's not going anywhere, okay? Then I fold it over, give it another good press on the fold part, okay? And then we can move on. Now you have another piece. So essentially what you have is you have your front piece, you have a 1/2 inch space, you've got this piece. This is going to create another 1/2 inch space right here, just like that. And then you'll have another 1/2 inch space in the back. Now in my previous book, I did all my cardstock the same colors. The only reason I did this with white pages on the inside is so you guys could see the contrast. You might want to do yours all the same color so that you don't have any breaks like in your spine, you know, of different colors. It's up to you. It's a decorative thing. It's a preference as far as how you decorate. Now put it in, line it up, nice and straight, and you might see, such as this one, which is again why you might want to use the same colored cardstock. Looks like mine got like tiny bit off right in here, so you'll be able to see this little strip, but that's okay because you know what, we can always decorate it to where you don't see that. But I like to keep everything nice and straight. If you wanted it to just be butt up, you could, but then this page is going to be slightly off, so I would rather them be straight in there than really worrying about this piece. Now you could probably just scoot it, if you wanted to scoot it a little bit further underneath this one and you wouldn't even see that, but that's fine. I leave these mistakes in there so you guys can see what can happen. And it's not anything that's not fixable. So essentially what you have is this. So if you see the spine, you've got a 1/2 inch in between all those different sections. And that's what you want, okay? So let's go ahead before we get too far. Now, I would say when you start the front, okay, if you want ribbon or something such as what I did here, you're going to want to sandwich that in between these two layers. Put that in there before you attach this top layer. And the same with the back, okay? You'll put it in there before you attach the back layer. That way it's sandwiched in there. It's nice and snug. It's not going anywhere. It just depends on how you want to close your book, or even if you want a closer. You don't have to have one. Trust me, you don't necessarily need it. I did it in this one just for the shabby chic look, and I liked that. Today, I am not going to do a closure. We are just going to simply leave it the way this is. You can always go back and add one with a little arm or something like that, but I'm going to just do it without today. So let's go ahead and put the front. Let me get this. Sorry, I'm real bad about paying attention to what I'm doing and not being in the camera shot, so I apologize. Told you tutorials are not my forte, okay? All right, so we're just going to go ahead and glue this in. Try to get it nice and even. Again, it's a preference as to how you decorate, okay? We're going to go ahead and put that one in. Okay. Now, we'll do the actual decorating part when we get to the end. Now, I did only cut one of these. I mean, you will need one for each side of your paper. So you're going to need 6, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these layers to do your entire book, okay? I've only cut one, and the reason I cut one is because I wanted to show you how to do the waterfall part, okay? I'm going to do the waterfall on this back page, so let's go ahead and glue this into that back page. because this is really, this and the two pockets are really the only things that I'm showing you. I feel like the little fold out, the little accordion fold out, everybody knows how to do those. But if you have questions about it and you want me to do it, I'll go back in and do it. I just feel like you guys are smart, probably smarter than me. So, all right, we're going to put this in there. And you guys, forgive that. I laid my glue pen on top of my paper and it pulled up a little spot. So, sorry about that, but you're not going to see it when I'm done. Okay, now what I wanted to show you is when you get ready to put in your, and now I did mine from the side on the last time. You can do them from top to bottom if you prefer. I'm going to do mine from the side just like I did the other book. So I'm going to flip this around so I can work with it and so you guys can see it. What I have done is I have 4 pieces. The waterfall pieces are 3.5 by 3 1/8. And let me show you. They're 3.5 inches wide. Okay, 3.5 inches wide by 3 1/8 from side to side here. And I have scored at 2 3/4 to create my little glue flap. Okay, so this piece is your little glue flap. And that's all I did. And I did 4 of them just like that. And then I matted them. And the mat pieces are 3 1/4 wide by 2 3/8 long. But again, that's a preference. So if you don't like as much white space, measure it and do it however you want to do it. Okay. Now, I have done all of these and pre-matted them and I have them ready. This very back piece, okay, this back piece, which is going to be the very end of your waterfall, is 3.5 by 2.5. And you'll see why when we get to the very back of it, okay? Now, you have this arm, and the arm that I created is 3.5 inches long by 1 inch wide. I have made a mat piece, which is 2 3/4 long by 7/8 of an inch wide. I went ahead and matted these two, but in between the decorative paper and the cardstock, I have put a little magnet. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This is the other magnet, and we're going to have to use that. But there is a magnet there. See? So we have to glue this part to the very front sheet of our little waterfall. We have to get it in between there so that when we connect these pages, or when we bend our arm over, it's going to connect the pages correctly. So exactly like that. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So we're not going to put our mat on until the very end, okay? So let me show you. We're going to start with this back page. And the back page, I'm going to go ahead and space it all the way down. I don't know if you can see this, but there are some little stitch lines in the layering piece. And I'm going to put this mat piece almost all the way down to that stitch line. But I want to still be able to see the stitch line. So I am positioning it above the stitch line, and I'm putting this as spaced nicely as I can, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and glue, oh, sorry. Before we do that, we have to glue this piece underneath this so that our arm can come up over all of that. And I eyeball it. You can actually measure the middle if you want. I just look at it and I go, oh, that looks nice. That looks like it's in the middle. And then I flip it over and I add a little bit of glue. Because this needs to be under your very last mat piece. This is what's going to hold your arm down and keep it from floating around or going anywhere. So, once you get that done, you're going to go ahead and glue this piece down. Okay, let's do that. Again, use glue liberally. You don't want this piece going anywhere. It's got your magnet on it. You want it to be nice and sturdy. You guys, I hope the electricity stays on. Our electricity's been flickering all day. We have storms like crazy. Okay, again, position it to where it seems even from space to space. I'm pulling it down to where it is literally just almost touching that stitch line. Pressing it in really well, okay? Then the next piece, and I'm doing mine alternate so that they are different colors going all the way up. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you could start from the top if you wanted to start from the top. But this is the way I chose to do it. So We're going to have them all glued in, and then we're going to glue the very top one, okay? So let's go ahead, and I think this should have overlapped this one just a hair, but that's okay. Oh, look at me. I'm crazy. I just did that on the wrong side. Don't do what Melissa does. I told you my tutorials never go as planned. Let's do this one and let that one dry out a little bit so we can fix it. You got to do it on the outside because it's going to fold under. Okay. And I'm going to fit that as tightly down in there as I can. So I'm pushing it as far down in there as I can. Fold it to make sure that it lays nicely. Now, you may work from the bottom to the top to the bottom. Whatever is your preference, there's no wrong or right way to do this. And again, your waterfalls, if you want to see more of what's underneath here, you could stagger them further, or you could change. I mean, there's so many ways to do this, you guys. I'm just showing you the easy peasy way. All right, again. And you don't have to have, I mean, you could have more space in between them if you wanted. Like I said, I am simply doing my thing my way. Press it in. Okay, now we have that page. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully my stick is gone. I don't want it to stick on itself, so. All right, we're going to glue this page in. Because this Bearly Arts glue is really good glue, so you got to be careful. Okay. And then I got yuck on the inside. You guys don't pay attention to my yuck, only because it's sticky. Okay. Now this one I'm not going to press too hard because, again, it has that remnants of that glue. I'm not going to press it down very hard. And then last but not least, okay, so we have this piece. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this in like this. But I am not going to, yeah, see this piece I should have done last because it should have overlapped this piece in the back just a little bit. It's a preference so that we had more space here where this was equal like these. I did that on my last one. I worked from the top to the bottom. This time I worked from the bottom to the top, and sometimes it makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this in without that layering piece, and I'll show you why, because we have to fit that magnet, okay? So let's go ahead and get our, oops, gluing it on top of the other one. We don't want to do that. Okay. Okay. I have it a little off. That is my fault because it's hard to work around a camera, you guys. It really is. Okay. So do that. Okay. So now we have all of our pages in their waterfall like this, but I need this arm to come over and catch this piece. Now, you can see that I have my magnet folded or stuck on the bottom of the piece like it's supposed to be in the exact position it needs to be to catch the other magnet. So what I did was I put glue on the back of the magnet. It's not going to stay, but that is going to help us. I did it on the entirety of the magnet. Okay, and then I close it, and that's going to tell me where my magnet needs to go, okay? So that is not going to stay, I can tell you that, but it does mark that little hole. Can you see? It marks that round piece perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull our magnet off. We're going to put a little more glue in that area, and we're going to put our magnet down. Oops, look at me. Making a mess. Okay. Put your magnet down right where that little round piece of, or that little round smudge of glue was. Nice, okay. Then you're going to take your last matte piece and you'll mat over that. So your magnet's not going to go anywhere, but yet you're still going to be able to fit. It's going to hold. Now, these magnets, I'm almost 100% sure that I got these at Amazon. You can get them Amazon, Temu, Ali, whatever. I've got tons of different sizes. I just chose one out of a drawer to use. They're all pretty much the same strength. They all do the same things, but some of them are super tiny and some of them are bigger. So now we're going to fit this on here. Okay. Pull it down just a little because I want the same mat space. Okay, and then press this in around that magnet very well, okay, so that your magnet's not going anywhere. Turn that over, and it should stick just perfectly. So there is your little waterfall. And again, this back piece, you guys, that is my fault. I was supposed to overlap the back. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. This piece right here should have overlapped this just a hair so that you couldn't see that very back piece. It would have been tucked under. You wouldn't have seen the back piece at all. Kind of like, let me show you what I'm talking about. You see how you can only see these 4 pieces here? You can't see that very back piece because the back piece, I made it even. And so I overlapped it on this piece. And that may be a better route for you to do. So learn from me, don't do as I do. And again, like I said, it would be great for you to use the same colored cardstock so that you're not seeing like any overlaps or anything. Now for the front and the back of those little layers, all I did was, now I did do a decorative piece first right in here and a decorative piece on the back before I added, let me show you. See, I have a decorative piece of paper behind it, and then I layered this on top. It's a preference whether or not you want that decorative piece in there. If you don't care, you can simply take your little pocket and put it over, or you can put your decorative piece down there first and glue it on there, okay? Totally up to you. But what you're going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, do I want to go ahead and cut this? Do I want to go ahead and glue it without a decorative piece in there? Sure, let's go ahead and decorate. Let's go ahead and do that. It's okay because I'm going to put a lot of goodies in there anyway. So all I did was I went around literally the very edges, as close to the edge as I could possibly get. Now, this you're going to have to sit there and hold it for a minute. Or, you know, if you got some little pins and you want to pin it in, or not pins, but little clips, you can clip it to hold it down. You're just putting it around the very edges. That one straight side, you're not going to put any glue there because you're going to glue it to the very edge of this so that you have a pocket. Now, if you wanted to stagger it down a little bit so that you had sort of a layered look, you can do that too. But this one, I did it from edge to edge exactly. Check it on the outside and make sure I don't need to pull it in a little bit. Okay. I want it to fit nicely is what I'm saying. So, okay. And then put the back one on. We're going to do the same thing. Just doing it on the very, very edges, you guys. As close to that edge as I possibly can. My glue bottle's getting messy. Oop. Let me just throw the glue. Okay. And then glue it in nice and even. If you see my head in the shot, I'm really sorry. Let's turn it over and fit it from the other side. Okay, making sure that it's not overlapping. All right. Pull it back in and then just press it in really good with our fingers in our bone folder so that you have that little tuck spot right in there. You have the little tuck spot right in here. See? Okay. So essentially you have your front and your back with a pocket. You have that waterfall page right there. Again, this is just the bones of the album. I will finish this and post it to my Instagram and to our new school platform in case you're interested. But I wanted to go ahead and glue these little pieces in. This is some of that really cute ephemera. So I thought I would show you guys. Let me bring you in just a hair. These pieces are so cute. It's part of the ephemera packs. There is a pack that has the frames and banners or loopy tags and banners, and then you have the birthday celebration ephemera that's got like all the balloons and the cakes and the presents and the cute little bear, which I absolutely love. Okay, let's see, do you want it that way or this way? I think we'll go. Ew. This is the fun part, though, doing all the decorating. Okay, we'll go that direction with it. Now, I already have some 1mm foam squares on the back of this because I just want it to be popped up a little, not a whole lot, but just a little. I love everything to have dimension. I really normally don't glue flat on flat unless... I get it if you have to mail something and it makes it difficult to mail it because it's too dimensional, but I like my dimensional stuff. I've got some of those 1mm on the back of this as well. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue down here since I don't have, and this is going to lay flat because we're going to have our little bear sort of standing on top of it. So I'm going to glue this, sort of going to, a little to the side. Not too much, but a little to the side. I like that. And then we're going to bring our little bear in here. How cute is that, you guys? I love this little bear. Okay. And I have some 1mm on him as well. I get these little foam dots from Spellbinders. You can get them in white or black. I do like them. And these are super sticky. They're not going anywhere. So I know sometimes I have to put glue on the back of my glue dots, and I kind of hate that, but you really don't have to with this because these little suckers stay stuck, okay? So there's my little guy in there, and then I have this little banner, and I'm thinking I'm going to run the little banner right in through here somewhere, and then I'm going to stamp something in here. I didn't bring my stamps over here, so you won't see that part, but I will show the finished album, okay? So I think that's how we're going to do the front, and then we will just add some blings and stuff inside. Yeah, I think that's going to be the route to go. Now, on the back of these, I have 2mm foam. I wanted the banner to really stand out. So, oops. Look at me. Told you I'm not good at these tutorials. I'm a mess. Alright, now we're going to attach here, go over the balloons, and attach to the other side. And that is the front of my little album, except for the fact that, like I said, I'm going to put some little bling on there, and then I'm going to put something stamped inside there, cute. And then we're going to decorate all the pages and see how it turns out, you guys. So, what we did was the album and the pages in the album, the little tuck spots on the front and the back, and then again, like I said, you can do them from side to side here the long way. You're just going to take your die and you're going to turn it the other direction to get that piece. And like I said, it comes with the layering pieces, and so it makes it super easy. And then we've got this piece with the little waterfall, and again, like I said, I should have scooted this up beneath that and lined it up and just overlapped it a little bit on that back, and then you wouldn't have seen that it wasn't the same exact. I don't mind that though. Things like that don't really bother me, but sometimes the perfectionist in me says, why did you do it this way? So anyway, that is the album. I hope that answers most of your questions. If you have more questions, please let me know. I don't mind going over anything for you guys. I'm a little slow at it sometimes because I'm a little slow at getting a lot of things done lately. But you guys, this is so much fun. Again, one die set, and then the paper collection, the large tree bag, okay, and the paper collection, a scoreboard, some glue, all the, your bone folder, your glue, your scissors. Super, super simple tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Don't forget, if you shop, I have a discount code, which is Melissa. That's MELISSA, and it saves you 10%, and it saves you 15% during sneak peek week, and so, or during the days of sneak peek, or not the days of sneak peek, sorry, the release days after sneak peek, and I will always specify what days those are in my description below, okay? So I'll leave the products in the description below, and if you have any question, make sure you, put a little comment or whatever. I'd appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up if you liked the tutorial, and until the next crafty video, guys, happy crafting!